Hey y'all, happy Tuesday, besties and bosses. How's everyone's week going? I'm excited to hang with you. I'm excited to chat today. We're gonna talk all about those funnels. Facebook is giving me notifications. All about sales funnels. I'm gonna share a peek behind the scenes of my sales funnel. And we're also going to talk about one of the biggest mistakes I see with sales funnels that I think cost entrepreneurs sales. But before we do, I want to hear how you're doing. How's everyone's week going? I am in the middle of moving. I am moving. I think we talked about this a little last week and on a training. I'm trying to remember which one, but we were talking about stuff and I mentioned that I was going to manifest my dream apartment. I totally manifested my dream apartment, y'all. Like, it is my dream apartment. I am so freaking excited, and we move next week. So I'm in the middle of packing. You can't see like the other side here, but we've got boxes and everything everywhere. We move next week. And for those of you who haven't heard, before we dive into today's live, I have a free training next week on Tuesday. Every week in here, or every month in here, we have a free training. And this month we are going to have a training on manifesting, but really on the practical magic of manifesting money and anything else you want. Slightly inspired by manifesting this apartment, but I really do believe that manifesting is a practical art and science, and the more we look at it, the more we can see, yes, if you believe in the universe, I do, I believe in the woo, how much is tied into that universal energy, and how much of manifesting is very practical and science-based, and really just what works to make money as well. So I want to break that down really simply for you all, because whether you're woo or you're not woo, whether you believe in universal energy or you think that's bogus and BS, this is going to apply to you, because we're going to talk about this very practically. I think it'll be really fun. This is the 7-step framework I use to manifest. I don't believe in like 7 steps to making money or manifesting, but I do want to break this down so you can really see what those steps are in my framework. We're going to break it all down. It's completely free, and if you sign up, you will also get a bonus playbook with some questions you can journal around, so you can keep those steps in your back pocket. Tiffany, hey, how are you? Nice to have you on with me. Nice to have all of you here. I love getting to see all your faces here. Today, so that's next week. Sign up for that. Join me. We'll have a really good time. I think the trainings we do in here are always very fun. And I think this one will be particularly fun and very beneficial. It's going to be very practical as well, I promise. I am all about the woo and the practical. You need both. Today though, let's talk sales funnels. If you're watching now or on the replay, tell me how you feel about sales funnels. I will tell you, when I started my business, the word funnels freaked me out, quite honestly. I don't know, I'm in like a different place in business, so I don't necessarily hear what the noise is online, but when I started in the online space and started my business, I feel like the whole conversation was around sales funnels, particularly email sales funnels, and it felt like there was a lot of pressure, like this was the way to make money. You had to have a strategic sales funnel, you needed to have a strategic email funnel. If you didn't, you were screwed. And I remember feeling completely overwhelmed. I also felt like funnels were like the magic secret, and I needed to find like the right funnel for my email to make money. And I cannot tell you how much time I spent obsessing over trying to figure out what that was, like what that meant, what that looked like, and also just not trusting what I had in place. The irony is, looking back, and that's what we're going to break down, what I didn't realize is I already had a funnel that was working really well, that was allowing me to book clients at the start of my business. I was just overcomplicating the shit out of things, and it really brought me backwards in business for a hot second. So because of that, and you don't have to out yourself, but tell me if you've ever felt that way. And tell me, what is the noise online right now about sales funnels? But because of that, I really want to break it down today. I want to just talk really simply, like, what is a funnel? When we talk about a sales funnel, when we talk about a funnel, what is that? And how can we look at it really simply so it's not confusing as fuck? And then I want to just peel the curtains back on my business and share what is the funnel I use. Something I'm really happy with is my funnel in my business is so simple. And what I coach my clients around is really having a simple funnel and not overcomplicating it. That works to bring in those clients. That's what allows me to have a fully booked roster, stay fully booked, have a wait list, make consistent 5-figure months. It's because it's really simple and easy for me to execute. So we're gonna talk about that. I'll just show you what that looks like. And I think you'll almost be surprised. You're like, wait, really? That's it? This is actually a funny side note. I finished an intensive with someone recently, and in their feedback, I always get feedback afterwards. One of the feedback comments was almost like, it was a compliment, but also like almost it was too simple what we talked about, because we so badly want to overcomplicate things in the online space, right? We like hear all the like gurus talking about all the things, and we want to have a really complicated system because we think that'll work better. I promise you, I will preach this all day, every day. Simple is what works in business. If it's complicated, that's actually when we want to take a look at what's going on. Simple is what will work every day to make you money. The more simple, the better. Don't let the ego confuse you there, because the ego wants to say simple is not good, simple can't work. Not the case, I promise you. So I want to show you that, and then we'll also talk through the biggest mistake I see entrepreneurs make with sales funnels. We've probably talked about this in different ways in this group before, but I think it's a really important one to speak to, because I'm constantly supporting clients with this and helping them catch this in their sales process and funnel. And it's something I just see over and over and over again. And if you can reverse this, it can make a really big difference in those sales you're bringing in. So that's what we're going to talk about. As always, I don't think I have any comments, but as always, chime in, share reflections. Let me know if you have questions. Let me know if anything's confusing. If you want a repeat, here for all of it. I want to make sure this serves you. That's why I'm here. So let's talk about sales funnels first and foremost. Like, what the heck is a sales funnel? I know for me, what I thought it was a really complicated email sequence that was like 45 emails long, and that like there must be like a specific formula for where things go to make it work. Let me know if that's what you think it is. That is a sales funnel, but really simply the way I invite you to think about a sales funnel is it's really just that path. That journey you take with people from the point you meet them, when you're visible and you meet them, and then what is that journey you take them along where you're nurturing those relationships until you make an offer. And I say that just to really simplify it, because there's lots of ways you can have a sales funnel. There's lots of ways you can funnel people into your business. If we think about a funnel, right, it's like this. The funnel in your business is really, if you look at the top end, this piece here, that top end of the funnel, that's where you first meet people, first get visible. That's the opening part of your funnel and that relationship building. And as people move down your funnel, really, it's just all of those different touch points and ways you're connecting with them and building the relationship until they get to the bottom of the funnel where they funnel into your offer and into your business. Does that make sense? So, and I say that just to keep it so simple, because again, I think there's a lot of noise out there that makes it sound like it's an overcomplicated thing. And I want you to see how it's really relationship building. It's really getting in front of new people, meeting them, building relationships, and nurturing the heck out of those relationships with all of those touch points until you make your offer. And then there are lots of ways you can have funnels, but that's how, I don't want to say stupid simple, that's how simple it gets to be. Let me know if that makes sense or if you want me to clarify. When we talk about a funnel, and I think this is something that gets talked a lot about in the online space when people are talking about email funnels in particular, is this idea that if we again think about a funnel, that you're going to have more people at the top, and then as you're nurturing them and as you're also filtering for who's a fit and who's not a fit, you're going to see it gets narrower and narrower. Now, some people will say that's a leak in your funnel, and that means there's something wrong with your funnel. I think, quite honestly, if your funnel is getting narrower and narrower, that means you're doing things right, because that means you're really filtering for who's a fit for your product and service and who isn't. And so at the top, you might say, my Facebook group is, I don't know how many people are in here right now, a couple thousand. I think there's like 7,000 in here. So if you were literally connecting with everyone, and that, let's say that was the top of your funnel, 7,000 people, there's no way 7,000 people are all going to be the right fit for my offer, right? My job then is in this funnel is to continue to have those touch points, to build on those relationships, to nurture those relationships, to really show up and share value and to communicate what I do and to filter people in and out. Really great marketing, I know I've said this before, you're going to just get to hear me say it again. Really great marketing is all about repelling and attracting. I think sometimes we think marketing is just about attracting, but it's really about repelling and attracting. Repelling people who aren't a fit, repelling people who really don't belong in that funnel, and attracting the people who are. And so as you think about this top of the funnel, and as you go down your sales funnel, a really great sales funnel, quite honestly, should get narrow, because what you're doing is, again, filtering out people who aren't a fit. Doesn't mean they're not great people. They're just not a fit for what you're offering, and filtering in those people who are until you get to that offer point. Does that make sense? You all let me know if that makes sense. All right, what did I want to share here? I think we can keep it that simple. The one piece I want to highlight there that I was mentioning that feels important before we break down those other 2 points, before I share my sales funnel or my funnel, what that looks like and that big mistake, is just really seeing how I was talking about touch points. I think touch points is something we forget about in the online space, especially when we hear something like sales funnels, and especially when there's marketing out there that's like, here, steal my secret sales funnel that will pump, I don't know, 6 figures overnight into your business. And what that great copy misses that I think is important for us to talk about is a really great funnel that gets to be very simple. Again, that middle part of your funnel is all relationship building, and that's all about having more touch points. It's about how many touch points can you have with your people that strengthen your relationship. So when I say a touch point, I mean right here, we're having a touch point. Whether you're watching now, you're watching on the replay, you watch this 6 months from now on my website, this is a touch point you have with me and my work. In a funnel, I want to have as many touch points as possible with people so that I'm building that relationship. I'm strengthening the trust you have with me. I'm strengthening the way you know me. I'm strengthening the way you like my work or the way you don't. So again, we can be cool and simpatico as friends, but that you aren't interested in my work, because when I get down to the offer part, I want to save myself time and not get on the phone, so I would love with people who just aren't a fit, and I want to make sure I am filtering in for those people who are a fit. The more touch points I have along the way and in that funnel, the more it's going to filter exactly the way it should into my offer. Does that make sense? Thank you for the hearts and the loves and the emojis and emoticons. It makes me very happy. That's totally, side note, what is that? That's like a total dopamine hit or something like that when we get those things from the emojis, but it absolutely works. So thank you. I will receive all the dopamine hits. Okay, so that's just keeping it simple. That's all a funnel is. And I say that because I have clients come on calls all the time really stressed that they don't have a funnel or thinking they're missing something. I want you just to see, you probably do have a sales funnel. It just might not be a 14 email sales funnel, and that's okay. And quite honestly, I have an email sales funnel. I think email works really well. I use email, and I will say currently right now, yes, it's important to have an email list and all of that. I have many, many clients who get fully booked and make great money without an email list. One of my clients hit 20K months without an email list. And I say that just to demonstrate it's not the only sales funnel that works. And I think currently with how much of our world is on social media, while yes, I know all of the information about having an email list and the importance of owning a list and all of that, there's also something to be said for really seeing where are people hanging out when you're thinking about your sales funnel, and not just taking blanket advice and thinking, I got to put all my eggs into the email funnel. Just a side note, food for thought. Let me know if that makes sense. Okay, so let's talk about my sales funnel a little bit. I think sometimes it's just helpful to hear, like, look behind the scenes, and I want to show you exactly what they are so you can, again, just see how simple it is, because I'm going to share this and you're going to be like, wait, really? That's a funnel? And I want you to see, yes, that is a funnel, and that is what funnels business into my business, clients into my business. And again, I have a very successful business, like how I'm able to have a successful business. And I want you to see how simple it is. And then we'll talk about the big mistake, but I'm saving that for last because I want you to see how simple this is first. And I don't want to lose you before that. We're just going to tease it out. So if we think about my business, what I love more than anything is when I have a discovery call with someone and they tell me how they found me, and they'll literally spell out to me my funnel in motion and how they ended up on the phone with me. And oftentimes it looks and sounds something like, I saw a post of yours in a Facebook group, or I saw a post of yours on Instagram. I don't even remember how, but I ended up in your Facebook group. I wasn't really paying attention, and then I caught some of your lives, and then I started watching your lives, and then you don't even know this because I never commented on them. I hear this more often than not, and I say that to all of you who worry about people not commenting on your content. People are listening, I promise you. I watched a bunch of your lives, and then you just said some stuff that really made sense to me, and you mentioned working together, or that you didn't have spots left, and I got on a call with you. That's a funnel. Do you hear how simple that funnel is? And I like, again, overly simple, but just so you can really see, like, that is a sales funnel, and there's nothing complicated in there. It's something I can rinse and repeat. It is something that builds in tons of touch points and value points to build that know, like, and trust with my people. It's very intentional. It's not like, when I say simple, it's not like it's haphazard or not thought out. It's very, very intentional. It's very strategic, but that could not be more simple. And the reason simple really wins with a funnel is you also see there's not a lot of places for people to get lost along the way. They didn't then sign up for 14 different things, and I didn't take them through like 14 rabbit holes to then figure out how they could work with me. That's not the big mistake we're going to talk about, but that's, I think, where a lot of funnels go wrong. It's like we overcomplicate the relationship building process. We make it so hard for people to get to know, like, and trust us, and we lose people in the process versus, like, that's so simple, right? I mean, can we agree? I'm going to walk you through a couple other, because I have more than one funnel or way people come into me. And I'm not suggesting to anyone listening at the start of business to have multiple funnels. I've been in business for a while now, and I have a team that can support me, so I'm able to have multiple things working. I'm a very big fan on starting with one strategy to start in your business. But I'm on Instagram. I also get on the phone with people when I find out like where they found me. They've either someone tagged me in a post, or we connected, or they saw something of mine that ended up following me. They weren't really paying attention. They saw some of my posts. I call them bite-sized biz lessons. I do little Instagram stories throughout the week. They started watching some of those. Oftentimes they end up in my Facebook group. You can see it's funneling them back to the same thing. Very intentional though, because I'm always promoting the Facebook group. They ended up watching some lives. They did a free training of mine. Until exactly the same conversation, something I said really clicked with them, or they realized they really needed support, or they realized the importance of one-on-one coaching, and they had built a relationship with me, and so they got on a call with me. And sometimes they'll go directly from Instagram to a call because I sell on there. But again, I just want you to see, like, that's very, very simple. It's very linear. There's not a lot of places for people to get lost along the way. But it also is a funnel in that there are tons of touch points. There are absolutely people who get on the phone with me who see one post, it clicks with them, they're ready, they get on a call, they become a client. That absolutely happens. I'm not discounting that. But for a lot of people, you see they really are going through that funnel, and they really are interacting with all those touch points until they're kind of at the bottom of the funnel. So I want you to see that, and I also just want you to see how simple that process is, because again, I think there's such a want to overcomplicate it. And then the other one, just really, like, I just want you to see, like, this is all I'm doing in the back end of my business. There's nothing you're missing. There's not some like secret out there. Again, this is why I think that intensive client, like, it was such a compliment, but also sort of like, this just, like, it almost just felt too simple. Like, is there something I'm missing? Y'all aren't missing anything. And within this, again, for you, like, yes, we want to be strategic, and yes, we want to have these funnels apply to your business and your message and what you're selling, but the actual practical funnel itself, very, very simple. I have an email funnel. I have things people can sign up for. I have opt-ins. People get some emails, and it sends them through a bunch of emails, multiple touch points, until I offer them a call, and then they get on the phone with me. And I just, again, want you to see, and it's that simple. And yes, again, I understand simple isn't always easy, and within that there's strategy, and there's things we really have to make specific to our people and to our message and to our offer. But the actual funnel itself, very, 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 very simple. And I really want you to hear that, so you're not like, what am I missing? You're not missing anything. Let me know if that makes sense, because then I want to talk about the piece I see people really get backwards with funnels that I think cost people a lot of sales. I need a sip of water though. I'll wait for if there's any questions. I do not get the AC right when I'm live, and I get so warm. Thank you for the thumbs up. Okay, I'm gonna take it that makes sense. Okay, so in terms of the biggest mistake I see with with sales funnels, and the biggest thing I see that I think comes from a really well-meant place from entrepreneurs, but it costs people so much money, is really flipping their funnel around. Hey, New York noise. So we think about the funnel like this, right? This is my hand funnel, where this is, if you ever think about like funneling liquid into a container, you have the big open mouth, right? So it can catch all the liquid, and then it brings it down to a hole to put it into the cup. That's what we're talking about in your business. We want to think about like, what's the big place we can connect with and like kind of hold the most people, and then how can we funnel them down so those select people go into the cup. What I see happen for a lot of people is they flip it upside down, and so it's like this, and the little tiny piece is at the top, and then the big mouth is at the bottom. And I don't know if you've ever used a funnel before, like, again, for doing liquid. What would happen if you did it that way? If you turned a funnel upside down into a cup, let's say you were pouring, lemonade into a jar. I don't know why you would do that, but let's just say you are. If you poured lemonade from a big pitcher into something like this that was funneling into your jar, you'd probably miss a whole bunch off the top, right? It would just kind of like slosh everywhere. A little bit would trickle through the middle. And then when it's going through the funnel, you don't even know if it's going to land in that jar, because if you've got a little jar here and your mouth is like this, it's like missing the cup completely, right? We've just got like liquid all over the place. And then as the person doing that, you're like, what the heck? I've got a funnel. Like, why the hell is my funnel not working? Why am I not booking any clients or making any money or making any sales? Like, I don't understand. I'm using a funnel as Kim Check said, funnels get to be simple and there's just a freaking mess and liquid everywhere. And that's because your funnel's inverted. Stephanie, hi, nice to have you here. We're talking funnels and we're keeping it simple. Visually, can you kind of just see like how that makes a mess and doesn't work? And so in business, what this means is when you have your funnel inverted, so if we think about a funnel this way, the top of the funnel is what? That's where you're first meeting people and getting visible and building like just that initial relationship. When you first join my group, that is the very top of my funnel. Or actually probably if you met me in another group first to even find your way to this group, that's like the top of the funnel. And then we have all those little touch points. And then at the bottom of the funnel, we have that offer. And if you pay attention to like what I'm doing, the bottom of my funnel, my offer is still usually a free offer or a entry level offer. So if we turn that around, what most people are doing, and what I see a lot happen, and I think it comes from a place of scarcity, and I think it comes from a place of desperation, and just like, someone said to go sell, I want to go sell, I want to make money. Kim said sell every day, sell every day. When your funnel's reverse, what that looks like is, that would look like you hopping into my group, me saying like, hey, I've got a 6-month coaching program. It's $15.50 a month, and it's really great. You should get on a call or get out. And I know no one's actually selling that way, but it would look like you barely knowing who the heck I am, having that first contact with me, and me putting a high-end, high-ticket, high-commitment offer right in your face. I don't know about you, but that inverted funnel, like I'm going to be some of that liquid that sloshes off the side. It has nothing to do with my money mindset. It has nothing to do with my commitment level. It has nothing to do with how much I like something. I just haven't built up enough touch points that know, like, and trust to want to hand over a suitcase of money to someone at that point. Does that make sense, y'all? And this is just what I see happen over and over again. And what it is it's that inverted funnel, because what we're hoping when we do that is if I make that big offer, then after I make the offer, then I can kind of scramble and put in all those touch points when you're unsure to say yes. And that's not where we want to put the touch points. I mean, yes, show up and serve your people. I have clients I've worked with for over 2 years because I keep showing up and serving them and have those touch points. Absolutely. And that's a whole nother conversation. The sales process doesn't stop when you make a sale. That's when it really, really starts if you want to keep clients and have sustainability, but that's another conversation. But what we're talking about here is offer touch points, hoping people get to know you. That is completely in reverse, and we want to flip it around. Meet people, build those touch points, find ways to continue to build those relationships, and then make that offer. And even there, really think about, where am I at in my funnel? Or to make it even more simple, and I think the way we speak as humans in this group is, where am I at in relationship with the person I'm talking to, and what makes sense as the obvious next step, or as that obvious next touch point? I think if you ask yourself that question, you will always know where you're at in your funnel and if it's inverted or not, and what makes sense as that next touch point. So for example, where am I at in my relationship with someone who's just joined my Facebook group, has never had any contact with me, and what's that obvious next step to build the relationship? Oh, the obvious next step is probably to invite them into my group and to nurture them and to welcome them and to share some content and to have them join me for a few free lives, and then to maybe invite them to join me for a free call or a free training, and to let them know about my work and that I have a free consultation, right? That I think we can make sense. Like, that makes sense in terms of where I'm at in the relationship with someone. Now, where am I at in the relationship with someone in my funnel if they come as a referral to me and they've already been stalking my content and they already know about me? We're at a completely different place in the relationship, right? In that funnel, they've already come through the top portion of that. They've already had a bunch of touch points. They've already gotten to know, like, and trust me. Completely different place in a relationship. And so what's the obvious next thing? It might be to offer them to hop on a call. It might be to talk about working together. Does that make sense? This is why I think, like, if we just look at it that simply and just think about, like, this is just relationship building, you will always find the answer for, what do I need to put in my sales funnel? I don't even want to use the term sales funnel because I think it almost sounds like bro marketing-ish and gets us confused, but I think it's something we all understand. But it's really just, what's the next step in my relationship with people? What is that obvious next step that makes sense to bring the relationship further? Do they need another touch point? Do they need some more value? Do they need to get to know me a little bit more? Even when you're having sales calls, do they need another follow-up? That's another touch point. And if you can think about it that way, it simplifies everything, and it takes you out of that spiral and spin that I think happens when we're like Googling how to have a sales funnel, or like what's the best way to sell, and like you're hearing like all these things you're supposed to do. It just makes everything way simpler and way more intuitive. And here's the beautiful thing, really great sales, really great funnels, they really are intuitive. Tiffany says makes sense. Thank you. I know I ask you all the time on the lives if things make sense. And so I thank you for affirming that. I want to make sure y'all are getting what you need from these. So thank you. What else did I want to say with this? So I'm going to give a couple examples here that I see happen with clients, because I think sometimes it's helpful to hear examples. So for example, this might be why, if like, let's say you are in the Facebook group, you're allowed to sell in here and you've been selling, you're like, why is no one biting? A really interesting thing to look at is just to look at, does your funnel look like this, or does your funnel look like this? Are you showing up in the Facebook group, connecting with people, building touch points, and making an offer that's the obvious next step? Or have you inverted your funnel, and are you making offers that are a really big leap for someone that doesn't know you, and then hoping by doing that you're making those touch points and can build a relationship? I think we can see, like, just really rationally, like, that doesn't make sense. And yet, said with love, I see it all the time. People are just dumping offers, and they're like, I'm just gonna spray this out there and just like, what is it? What's the frame people use? Spray and pray. I'm just gonna spray and pray. Spraying and praying is not a business strategy, y'all. Said with so much love to help you, because I want you to make money. Spraying and praying. Yeah, spraying and praying, not a business strategy. Showing up, thinking about how does this fit into my business funnel? How does this fit into my sales process? Where am I at in relationship with people? And posting in accordance to that makes sense, and that will make you money so much faster. I think people think if they do it this way, it speeds up the process. And I think it's that impatience that kicks in, where it's like, I need to make a sale now and I want to make money now. And the funny thing is, if you take this approach, that actually is the fastest way. Because, I mean, just think about even this shape. Things just slide right down where you want them to go. Here, things just slide right out, not where you want them to go. So even if we think about the shape of a funnel, it really, I promise you, it works so much faster than doing it the other way. So another example I've had when people are launching, let's say you have a course or you're launching something new, and sometimes people come to me kind of when they're mid-launch, or they've launched something before and they're like, it didn't work, and launching doesn't work, and this, like, all the things about why this doesn't work. When we actually take a look at what's going on, it's because a little bit of what we're talking about, there wasn't a lot of time at this top part of the funnel where we're bringing people in and we're making new connections and we're making new relationships and we're nurturing them before making that offer to the course or program. If you take a look at most launch strategy, it's pretty simple. I think most people are pretty much following the same strategy. What makes it work besides the mindset and energy, which is, I mean, let's be real, 80-90% of it. But when we actually look at what makes those strategy work and why people are following so much of the same strategy and not reinventing the wheel, is because it follows this model of bring in new people, connect with them, build relationships, build in touch points, make your offer. And what I find happens when we kind of dissect past launches that haven't worked, a lot of times it's been in reverse. I made something, I was so excited, I just want to share it with the world. Someone said, just do it, just put it out there. There was no strategy behind it. I just kind of threw it out there. I made a couple offers and I like just dropped it in people's laps. It was just like, plunk, here you go. And then I don't understand why people didn't buy it. I mean, they're not actually saying that. And I say this just, making light of it. But we can see that's that inverted sales funnel, right? That's starting with the bottom of the sales funnel at the top and hoping that by doing that, you'll be able to catch enough things as they fall through that funnel instead of having it this way. Tiffany says, can you give an example of how you would build relationships in a group before making an offer? So absolutely. And I thank you for that question. I think, and I'll answer this specifically, but I think just as a general, like whether it's on Facebook groups or whether it's on Instagram or on LinkedIn or at a networking party when the world opens back up, I would really think about, like, how do you like to build relationships in general? Are you someone who likes to have deep conversations with people? Are you someone who likes to listen a lot? Like, just what's your communication style? What's your connection style? And see how you can mimic that. I think that's always just a nice insight. For me, I'm kind of a listener and an affirmer. So if I'm in a group, I want to engage with some other people's content. I want to comment on it. I want to give them like a high five, or like, I think that's amazing. Or I want to support them in some way. Those are all ways I'm building relationships. Like, those are all ways to build relationships. If you're in a Facebook group, for example, a great way to build relationships is also through your content. I mean, content, I think, is one of the strongest relationship builders we have in the online space. It's why online marketing is the number one way of building business. Almost not all of my clients are using content marketing, because not all of my clients have the same businesses, but a lot of my clients are. And the reason for that is it is just one of the quickest ways to build that know, like, and trust with people. So Tiffany, to answer your question, like, what I might do is want to engage with some people to like really say hi and get to know them and like actually be interested in what they're doing by reading their posts and commenting on it. And then also add my own take to the conversation by sharing content. I'll link to it. I did a live on how to use Facebook groups to book clients. If you haven't seen it, Tiffany, I will link it, because I think we talked about that a little bit in there. But really, like, that's what we were talking about, is the relationship building part, and that's building relationships. I have beautiful friendships and clients and people I've hired from Facebook groups, and it's been based on all what we're talking about, because I engaged with their content enough that I felt like I know them, and vice versa, they engaged with mine, and we built this relationship. I have a dear friend who's in this group. I won't say names because that feels like not right for confidentiality, but she's a dear friend. She's not a client. She's a dear friend, but we became friends literally through what we're talking about. We both shared content. We both engaged with each other's content. She's come to the city to visit me. You know, we talk. She's wonderful. And I think that's just a beautiful example. Like, yes, we're doing this for marketing for our business, but just to see how truly, when you're engaging that way and also sharing your own work, like, that does build relationships, period. And then some of those relationships, I think, I'm always talking about, like, relationships are like, that is the core of your business and where your money comes from. And I think we forget that it's not just relationships for someone who's going to become a client, but we have a relationship, right, Tiffany? Like, over like sharing, me showing up here, you showing on lives, like, you feel like you probably get to know me, even if you never hire me. We have a beautiful, like, I hope you feel that way, but I feel like I love having you here. We have a relationship, and if you think about that, it's like, that serves me as a human. It serves my work. And I think we forget how all of those relationships also become part of our word of mouth, part of, you know, it sounds silly, but like part of the algorithm, part of like how we get to have and like find market research and like what else serves our group. Like, there's so many pieces to the relationship building that tie into business growth that aren't necessarily directly related to that next client. And I share that because I think this whole group is heart-centered. I know that, and I know you are, Tiffany. And you're born in this group. That's who my people are. And I think sometimes we can hear, it's almost like, well, if I'm relationship building and if I'm thinking about the funnel this way, suddenly it starts to feel really salesy and skeezy and kind of like, then it's just like yucky, like I'm hunting for clients. And I would say remove all of that noise from the brain. It's really just, how can I go build those relationships and strengthen them, the top of the funnel, and build those connection points, and know that all of those relationships, they're beautiful on their own, and they're also going to serve my business. Promise you. Tiffany says, absolutely. Thank you. Let me know if you have any follow-up questions about clarification on how to do that. I'm boring you all. Where is my AC thingy? Hold on a second. I gotta turn my AC down. I don't know if this is so not what we're talking about in here. My phone is low, but you know, when it's not super hot outside, how you have to have the AC down to a certain degree to actually cool and not blow out hot air. We're actually not having a crazy humid week in New York City. It's like kind of normal temperature for summer, so I like don't have the temperature set right, and so it's been like blowing hot air. Anyway, I'm also red on every live, let's be real. Okay, so let me know if you have questions about like building the relationship piece. And I think just so we were talking about content. I think that's just a helpful, I'll kind of piggyback on that a little bit more, because I think sometimes when we're sharing content, it's almost like we forget why. It can almost just feel, I think, like a hamster wheel, or like, why am I doing this? Like, what's the point? Like, I'm sharing stuff other people are saying. What is the whole point of this? And I think, again, we can just kind of break it down to what we're talking about here. We think about funnels very simply. All that content, this is the funnel. There are all those touch points in your funnel, and they're all conversations you're having with people, even if they're not there online, and they're building relationships. And I think that can take some of the pressure off your content and kind of that middle part of your funnel, because I think sometimes we put a lot of pressure on content to be like the holy grail and just fix and solve all the amazing things in like one post, which, I mean, if I ever write a post like that, I'll just like drop the mic. It doesn't happen. It doesn't exist. And I think it can really release the pressure around content, around that funnel, when we really start to see it as like, this is another touch point. This is another conversation I'm having with someone. This is another way I'm strengthening that relationship with people that I'm either just meeting for the first time or that I've maybe like chatted and like waved to a few times. And I can just like, and I'm going to have another conversation tomorrow and the next day and the next day. So if there were 15 typos in that post, and if this one wasn't like my best work, I'm going to have another conversation tomorrow. Just like my boyfriend's in the other room. I had a conversation with him this morning. We had a conversation before I went live. We're going to go for a walk tonight. We're going to have, these are all touch points throughout our day. They're all strengthening our relationship. Our whole relationship is not built on one conversation. Otherwise, that would be a very weak relationship, right? We can agree with that. Same thing with your content, same thing with your funnel, same thing with your touch points. Your whole business does not ride on one touch point or one piece of content. It's all of those multiple touch points and those multiple posts and those multiple conversations you're having that build up and strengthen those relationships over and over and over again and make those really strong relationships. The same way you do in romantic relationships or with your friends. My best friend, I'm sure you can say the same. My best friend, we've been friends for, 10, 15 years. I've lost count at this point. We have conversations all the time. They're always different. Sometimes they're amazing. Sometimes she's with her baby and half listening because she's got to take care of her baby. Sometimes I'm multitasking at the grocery store and trying to navigate New York City, and, it's not the deepest conversation. Sometimes it's super deep. Sometimes we're being silly and ridiculous. But all of those are touch points. All of those strengthen our relationship, and that is all, like, we started at the top where we were like barely knowing each other. That all funnels us down into we're best friends, or I have a romantic partner, we have a solid relationship. Same in your business. Take the pressure off the touch points and just see them as these are all just conversations that stack upon one another. It's just new ways we get to know each other and deepen that relationship, and that's what's going to bring you to that solid relationship where making an offer makes sense. With that being said, and this feels important because I don't want anyone to hear this the wrong way, that does not mean it has to take a really long time to build a relationship or a really long time for someone to be ready to buy. I don't want you to hear this and then think, well, shoot, now I have to like build relationships for 16 months before someone's ready to buy. It's not what I'm saying at all. There are absolutely people who will take longer to build a relationship with, but I want you to know this funnel can happen very quickly. You can meet someone, connect, based on what you're sharing, have a couple, just like my boyfriend and I, first date, eyes locked, we had a deep conversation, and we had like a 6-hour first date, and we were in it right from the beginning. We moved through that funnel pretty quickly. And I've known other people in the past where like that funnel took a really long time for us to get to know one another. And so same in your business. I just want you to see like, what is the order we do things? Like we still need to get to know each other, have that deep conversation, and get to the place where making an offer makes sense, versus if we reverse it and we think about dating, it would have been really weird if on the first date, before we had that long conversation, before we connected, if I met my boyfriend for the first time and he just lurched in and started trying to kiss me, I would have been out that door in a hot second. But after 6 hours, it totally made sense for him to kiss me. So in your business, just think about, does it make sense for me to kiss my clients? No, I'm kidding. That's not what we're talking about. But you can just use that example where things, like, it doesn't have to be a long process going through that funnel with all those touch points. It's, again, just really starting to pay attention to, where am I at in relationship with this person? Some people, you're going to click right away, and it's going to be one post, one call, they hire you. And some people, it's just going to be a longer relationship building process. Neither one is wrong. Neither one is better than the other. They're just different relationship building journeys. And it just means you want to be mindful of that, so you know what touch points and what offers to make. So hopefully that makes sense and simplifies it. But I want to make sure we don't end this with anyone thinking, now it has to take a super long time. Not at all. It can happen very quickly, and like if you're engaging in this Facebook group, for example, and you're engaging with people and sharing content, put some offers in here as well. Like, someone can read 2 of your posts, see your offer, hop on a call with you and hire you. Like, it can be that short. It's just really helpful to make sure you're not just having that inverted funnel. Tiffany says, thank you for simplifying all this. So my pleasure. That makes me happy to hear that it felt simple. So my pleasure. If you have any questions before we me, myself, and I. Before me, myself, and I hop off, let me know. And if you're watching on the replay as well, let me know if you have any questions, if there's anything that wasn't clear. I hope this will feel simple to everyone watching now and on the replay and help simplify the whole concept of funnels, but really just what it looks like to go out there and book clients. And then as a reminder, unless there are questions, got questions here. Carrie Ann says, just got here. What did I miss? Could someone give me a quick update? I will give you a quick recap, and then we're kind of wrapping up. So if you have a question, you can let me know. And if not, you can watch the replay. This will stay up. Carrie Ann says, oops, too late. I'll just rewatch. Absolutely. But I'll give a good recap. It's good for me to give a recap anyway. What we talked about was really what a funnel is. I was sharing how I think they can be really overcomplicated and how much that threw me at the start of my business. I broke down and kind of walked you through the 3 main funnels in my business and what those look like, just so you can see how freaking simple they are. And then we talked about the biggest mistake I see in sales funnels with entrepreneurs. It really blocks people from getting sales and the easy way to flip that around. And we try to keep it as simple as possible. So rewatch on the replay, see if I can get those R's out, and feel free to drop questions if you have any. I'll definitely come back and answer those. And same with anyone else watching now or later. Drop any questions for me always, or post them in the group. Tag me if you post them in the group though, because otherwise I won't see them. And then as a reminder, unless anyone does have a question, free training next Tuesday. I will drop a link to sign up. The practical magic of manifesting money, or anything else you want. We are going to take that woo, take that practical science. We're going to marry them together, and we're going to get really clear and simple with what manifesting is, why it's actually scientific and why it actually works, and walk through the 7 steps. It's not the 7 steps to get rich or any BS like that, because that just doesn't exist, y'all. We're going to walk through 7 practical steps to manifesting money or anything you want. And they're literally what I use all the time and how I manifested my last apartment. Carrie Ann says, cool, thanks. My pleasure. I love you all. Thank you for being here, and I will see you next week. Bye.